The sun dipped low over the plains of ancient India, painting the sky with hues of amber and rose. A gentle breeze stirred the tall grasses, carrying the sweet scent of jasmine and the faint hum of distant village life. In the small village of Savathi, nestled between rolling fields and a winding river, lived a young woman named Lila. Her heart was a restless sea, always churning with dreams of greatness. Lila was known for her quick wit and tireless energy, but also for her scattered pursuits. She would start one task only to leap to another, her mind like a butterfly flitting from flower to flower, never lingering long enough to drink deeply. And though she worked hard, success seemed to slip through her fingers, like sand carried away by the wind. Lila sat by the riverbank one evening, her bare feet brushing the cool, damp earth. The water flowed steadily before her, its surface catching the last rays of sunlight, shimmering like a mirror of dreams. She tossed a small stone into the river, watching the ripples spread and fade. "Why can't I make my dreams come true?" she whispered to the water. "I try so hard, but nothing lasts. I want to be someone great, someone who matters, but how?" The river offered no answer, only its soft, endless murmur, as if inviting her to listen more closely. In the quiet of that moment, Lila felt a longing, not for riches or fame, but for a clear path, a way to make her efforts count. Savathi was a bustling village, alive with the rhythm of daily life. Farmers carried baskets of rice to market. Children chased each other through dusty lanes, and monks in saffron robes walked mindfully toward the Jetavana monastery nearby. Lila's family ran a small pottery shop, crafting clay pots and bowls with care. Her mother shaped the clay with steady hands. Her father painted delicate patterns that told stories of the seasons. But Lila's heart was elsewhere. She dreamed of becoming a great healer, a poet whose words would inspire, a merchant who could travel the world. Yet every time she began one pursuit, mixing herbs, writing verses, or bartering goods, another idea would pull her away. Her days were a tangle of half-finished plans, and her heart grew heavy with frustration. One morning, as the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, Lila heard whispers in the marketplace. A great teacher was staying at the Jetavana monastery nearby, a man called the Buddha, who had found enlightenment under a Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya. His words, they said, were like a lamp in the darkness, guiding lost hearts to peace. Lila's curiosity flickered like a flame. Could this teacher show her the secret to success? Could he help her find the path she longed for? With a basket of fresh mangoes as an offering, she set out for the monastery, her heart pounding with hope. The path to Jetavana wound through groves of mango trees, their leaves rustling softly in the breeze. The air was warm, filled with the scent of ripe fruit and blooming lotuses. Lila walked slowly, her bare sandals kicking up small clouds of dust. She imagined the monastery ahead, a place of stillness where answers might bloom like flowers after rain. The sound of a distant bell reached her ears, low and resonant, calling her forward. Fireflies began to glow as the sky deepened to twilight, their tiny lights dancing like stars fallen to earth. When Lila arrived at the Jetavana, she found a gathering of people seated on woven mats beneath a canopy of trees. At the center sat the Buddha, his saffron robes draped simply over his shoulders, his face calm and radiant, like a lotus resting on still water. His presence was a quiet force, steady and unshaken, like a mountain rooted deep in the earth. Lila felt her breath slow, her heart quiet, as she placed her basket of mangoes before him and sat cross-legged on the ground. The Buddha's eyes met hers, gentle yet piercing, as if he saw the storm of dreams within her. "Welcome, young one," the Buddha said, his voice soft as a breeze through the leaves. "What brings you here today?" Lila's words tumbled out, her voice trembling with urgency. "I want to succeed. I want to do great things, to make a difference. But no matter how hard I try, I fail. I start one thing, then another, and nothing is ever finished. My mind is always chasing new dreams. What am I doing wrong? How can I find success?" The Buddha smiled, a gentle curve of his lips that seemed to hold the wisdom of the ages. "Listen," he said, "to the soft murmur of the river in your mind. Feel the breeze that moves through the trees. Tell me, Lila, what do you see when you look around this grove?" Lila glanced at the trees, their branches swaying gently, at the monks sitting in quiet meditation, at the soft glow of lanterns casting shadows on the ground. "I see peace," she said. "I hear the leaves rustling, the birds settling for the night. It's calm, like everything knows its place." The Buddha nodded. "And this calm does not come from many things happening at once. The tree grows tall by sinking its roots into one spot. The river reaches the sea by following one path. Success, Lila, comes from focus. Choose one goal, give it your heart, and walk its path with care." Lila's brow furrowed. "But there are so many things I want to do," she said. "If I pick just one, won't I lose the others? What if I choose wrong?" The Buddha's eyes sparkled with kindness. "Let me tell you a story," he said, "of a man who sought to hold the stars." And so, as the night deepened and the stars shone bright above the monastery, the Buddha began his tale. Lila leaned forward,
her heart open, her mind still for the first time in weeks. The story was simple, yet it carried a weight that settled deep within her, like a seed planted in fertile soil. Once, in a village by the Ganges, there lived a man named Rohan. Rohan was a dreamer, much like you, Lila. His heart was full of grand plans. He wanted to build a great temple to honor the gods, to grow fields of rice that would feed the hungry, to carve statues that would inspire awe. Each day, Rohan would begin a new task. One morning, he would gather stones for the temple. The next, he would plow the fields. By evening, he would chip away at a block of stone for his statues. But the temple remained a pile of stones. The fields grew wild with weeds, and the statues stood unfinished, their faces blank. Rohan grew weary, his heart heavy with failure. "Why do I stumble?" he cried to the river one night. "I work so hard, yet I achieve nothing." One day he heard of a wise monk living in a forest hermitage. With hope in his heart, Rohan set out to find him. The journey was long, through dusty roads and shaded groves, but Rohan's determination carried him forward. At last he found the monk sitting by a small stream, his face as calm as the water before him. "Teacher," Rohan said, "I want to do great things, but my efforts scatter like petals in the wind. How can I succeed?" The monk looked at the stream, where the water flowed smoothly over smooth stones. "Watch the water," he said. "It does not try to flow in every direction. It follows one path, and in that focus, it carves the earth and brings life to the land. If you chase many goals, your strength fades. Choose one goal, Rohan, and give it all your heart. Let go of the rest, not with sorrow, but with trust that the right path will lead you to what matters." Rohan frowned. "But how do I choose?" he asked. "How do I know which goal is true?" The monk smiled. "Sit by this stream each morning. Breathe in, breathe out, listen to your heart. Ask yourself, what is the one thing that brings joy to others and peace to you? That is your path. Walk it with steady steps and do not turn aside." Rohan returned to his village, his mind clearer. Each morning he sat by the Ganges, breathing slowly, listening to the water's gentle song. In time, he realized that his true joy lay in growing rice. It would feed his village, ease their hunger, and bring them together. So Rohan let go of his temple and his statues. He plowed his fields, planted seeds, and tended them with care. Months passed, then years, but Rohan never wavered. And one day, when the fields bloomed with golden rice, the villagers gathered to harvest, their faces bright with gratitude. Rohan's name was remembered, not for many things, but for one thing done well. The Buddha paused, his eyes resting on Lila. "Do you see, Lila? Success is not found in chasing many stars. It is found in choosing one star and following its light with all your heart. This is the secret rule. Never stop focusing on one goal."
Lila sat quietly, the Buddha's words sinking into her like rain into parched earth. She thought of her own scattered dreams, the herbs she mixed but never mastered,
the poems she started but never finished, the goods she traded but never profited from. "But what if I fail?" she asked softly. "What if I focus on one thing and it's not enough?" The Buddha's voice was gentle, like a breeze across the river. "Failure is only a moment, Lila. It is not the end. The path to success is not a straight line. It winds through doubts, through mistakes, through lessons. But if you keep your eyes on one goal, each step teaches you, each moment brings you closer. The key is mindfulness, to be present in each action, each breath. This is the Noble Eightfold Path: right intention, right effort, right concentration. Focus your mind and the path will unfold. Lila felt a warmth in her chest, a quiet strength rising within her. "How do I choose my one goal?" she asked. The Buddha pointed to the river beyond the monastery, its waters glimmering under the starlight. "Sit with yourself, Lila. Breathe in, breathe out. Let go of the noise. Ask your heart what matters most, not what others expect, not what shines brightest, but what brings peace to you and goodness to the world. When you find it, hold it gently like a lotus in your hand and walk its path." That night, Lila stayed near the monastery, sitting by the river as the Buddha had suggested. She closed her eyes, listening to the soft ripple of the water, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of a night bird. She breathed slowly, in and out, letting her thoughts settle like dust after a storm. In the stillness, she began to see her heart more clearly. She thought of her mother's hands shaping clay, her father's stories painted on pots. She thought of the villagers, their aches and fevers, their need for care. And she realized that her deepest wish was to heal, to ease suffering with herbs and kindness.
The next morning, as the sun rose over the river, Lila returned to the Buddha. "I know my path," she said. "I want to be a healer, to help my village with medicines and care." The Buddha nodded, his eyes warm with approval. "That is a noble goal, Lila. Now walk it with focus. Do not let your mind wander to other dreams. Each day, give your heart to this one task. Heal with kindness, with patience, with mindfulness, and success will come, not as fame or riches, but as peace in your heart and joy in the lives you touch." Lila returned to Savatthi with a new lightness in her step. She began small, gathering herbs from the fields, learning their names and uses from an old healer in the village. At first her mind wandered to other dreams, to poetry, to trade, to faraway places. But each time she remembered the Buddha's words. She breathed deeply, brought her focus back to the herbs, to the moment before her, She listened to the villagers' ailments, mixed remedies with care, and felt a quiet joy growing within her. Months turned into years. Lila's skill as a healer grew, and so did her reputation. Villagers came to her with fevers, aches, and wounds, and she tended to them with gentle hands and a calm heart. She learned to make salves from neem leaves, teas from ginger and tulsi, and poultices from turmeric. She sat with the sick, listening to their stories, offering not just medicine, but kindness. Her mother and father watched with pride, their pottery shop now filled with Lila's herbs, drying in bundles from the rafters. One evening, as Lila sat by the river, an old woman approached her. It was the village healer who had taught her the ways of herbs. "Lila," she said, "you have done something great. Our village is healthier, happier because of you. You have succeeded where many falter." Lila smiled, her heart full. "I only followed one path. I kept my focus as the Buddha taught me." The old woman nodded. "And that is why you have succeeded. Not because you chased many dreams, but because you gave your heart to one." As the years passed, Lila's healing grew into something more. She taught others, young women and men who came to learn her craft. She shared her knowledge freely, planting seeds of care in their hearts. Her life was not filled with wealth or fame, but with a deeper richness, a peace that came from knowing she had chosen her path and walked it well. The villagers spoke of her with gratitude, and those she healed carried her kindness into the world, like ripples spreading across a still pond. But Lila's journey was not without challenges. There were days when her remedies failed, when a fever would not break or a wound would not heal. On those days, doubt crept into her heart, whispering that she had chosen wrong, that she should have pursued another path. One such evening, after a child she had tended grew worse, Lila returned to the river, her heart heavy. She sat on the bank, watching the water flow, and remembered the Buddha's words. She breathed slowly, in and out, letting the doubt slip away like leaves on the current. "Failure is only a moment," she whispered to herself. "I will keep my focus, step by step." The next day, she returned to the child, trying a new remedy, sitting with the family through the night. By dawn, the child's fever broke, and Lila felt a quiet triumph, not of pride, but of perseverance. She learned that success was not the absence of failure, but the courage to stay focused, to keep walking the path even when it grew steep. Years later, Lila heard that the Buddha was passing through Savatthi again. She returned to the Jetavana monastery, her basket now filled with herbs instead of mangoes. She found the Buddha sitting beneath the same canopy of trees, his presence as calm and radiant as before. She bowed and sat before him, her heart full of gratitude. "Teacher," she said, "I followed your advice. I chose one goal, to heal, and I have walked that path. It has not always been easy, but I have found peace, and I have helped others. Thank you."
The Buddha smiled, his eyes like stars in the morning light. You have learned well, Lila. The secret to success is not in doing many things, but in doing one thing with mindfulness, with care. You have walked the Noble Eightfold Path, and in your focus you have found true success, not in the eyes of the world, but in the peace of your heart and the good you have done. Lila returned to her village, her steps steady, her heart light. She continued her work, tending to the sick, teaching the young, and living each day with mindfulness. The river still flowed by her village, its waters a reminder of the path she had chosen. She would sit by it in the evenings, listening to its soft murmur, breathing in the scent of jasmine and earth. She would close her eyes and feel the breeze, letting her heart rest in the moment. And so, dear listener, as you sit in the quiet of your own moment, let Lila's story settle in your heart. Listen to the soft rustle of leaves in your mind, the gentle flow of a river in your breath. Ask yourself, what is the one goal that calls to you, the one that brings peace to your heart and goodness to the world? It may be small, it may be grand, but it is yours. Choose it with care, hold it gently, and walk its path with focus. Breathe in, breathe out. Let go of the many dreams that pull you in every direction. The Buddha's secret rule is simple. Never stop focusing on one goal. It is not about speed or strength, but about mindfulness, about giving your heart to the moment before you. Success is not a distant prize to be chased. It is a quiet joy that grows with each steady step. So pause now in the stillness of this moment and ask yourself, what is my one goal? What is the path I will walk with care? As you find it, let your heart be light, your mind clear, and your steps steady. Picture the river flowing before you, its waters calm and sure. Hear the soft rustle of leaves, the gentle call of a distant bird. Feel the breeze on your skin, cool and soft, carrying away all doubt. Walk your path, one step at a time, with mindfulness and care. And in that focus, you will find not just success, but peace. Let your breath slow now, in and out, like the rhythm of the river. Let your heart rest like a lotus floating on still water. What is your one goal? Hold it gently in your mind and let it guide you. The path is yours, and it begins with this moment, this breath. Walk it well, dear listener, and let peace be your success.